the exception. Now, when the statement you are reporting is still true or relevant, or is a universal truth or general statement, then there will be no change of tense. When the statement you are reporting is very much relevant or is still true, there will be no change of tense in the words you are reporting. Look at this example. There are 7 days. There are 7 days in a week. The teacher said. The teacher said. The teacher said. There are 7 days in a week, the teacher said. Now, if I want to report this using past tense as my reporting verb, past tense reporting verb. Now, because this statement, there are 7 days in a week, is a universal truth, it's always true. There will always be 7 days in a week. So that is why when you want to report this, there will be no change of tense. So if I want to report that, it becomes what? The teacher said there are 7 days in a week. The teacher said there are 7 days in a week. Why? Because there will always be 7 days in a week. That's a universal truth or general statement. So the R that you have, the present tense here, is still what? Is still R, even though we have past tense as our reporting verb. I hope that is understood. Another example, look at this. My father is a medical doctor. My father is a medical doctor. The boy explained. The boy explained. Now, I want to report this statement by the boy. My father is a medical doctor. If I want to report that, it becomes the boy explained that his father is a medical doctor. Now, even though our reporting verb is explained as in the past tense, because if the boy's father is a doctor and is still a doctor, then it should not be necessary for me to change the tense, because the boy's father is still a medical doctor. So this is here is still what? Retained. My father is a medical doctor, the boy explained. If I change it into the context, it becomes what? The boy explained that his father is a medical doctor, meaning that what? His father is still what? A medical doctor. Is that clear? Alright. We now go to some of the changes of tense that normally occur whenever we have past tense as our reporting verb. What are the changes of tense that are always observed whenever past tense is used as a reporting verb? When we have past tense reporting verb, past tense reporting verb. So we want to look at the changes of tense that we have. Changes of tense that we have. Number 1. Simple present tense changes to simple past tense. Simple present tense becomes simple past tense. Example. I live in Lagos. I live in Lagos, she said. It becomes, if I want to report that, it becomes, she said that she lived in Lagos. Now, this is assumed that I live in Lagos. If we still live in Lagos, then specifically what she said that she lives in Lagos. But if she does not live in Lagos anymore, it becomes what? She said that she lives in Lagos. It becomes that she lives in Lagos. Number 2, present continuous tense. Present continuous tense. Continuous tense becomes past continuous tense. Continuous tense. Present continuous tense becomes past continuous tense. Example, we have I am writing a letter. He shouted. I am writing a letter. He shouted. I am writing a letter. He shouted. What would it be now? If I want to report that, I told you that present continuous tense, which is I'm writing, becomes what? He shouted that he was writing a letter. So this I'm writing here becomes what? Was writing. Why? Because we use past tense reporting verb as our reporting verb there. Number 3, present perfect tense. Present perfect tense becomes past perfect tense. Present perfect tense becomes past perfect tense. Example, I have finished my task. He said, I have finished my task. He said, if I change that to reporting verb, reporting text, reported speech, it becomes, he said that he had finished his task. He said that he had finished his task. Now, what is the present perfect tense say? Have finished. When it is changed to past to reporting clause, it becomes have finished. So present perfect tense becomes past perfect tense. Now, let's look at other changes of tense. Other changes of tense. Other changes of tense. Other changes of tense. We have number 4. We have simple past tense. Simple past tense becomes past perfect tense. Example, simple past tense becomes past perfect tense. I scored a goal in the match. She said, I scored a goal in the match. Reported, it becomes, she said that she had scored a goal in the match. I scored a goal in the match. Reported, it becomes what? She said she has scored a goal in the match. So that is scored, which is what? Simple past tense becomes had scored. Now, number 5. Past continuous tense. Past past continuous tense becomes past perfect continuous tense. Past perfect continuous tense. Past perfect continuous tense. Example. She was crying. She was crying for her father. She was crying for her father. The woman observed. The woman observed. Reported, it becomes the woman observed that she had been crying for her father. She was crying for her father becomes what? The woman observed that she had been crying for her father. So was crying, which is what? Past continuous tense becomes past perfect continuous tense. Past perfect continuous tense. Now let's look at another rule, rule number 6. That is another change that we notice here. Another change that we notice. Number 6. Past perfect tense. Past perfect tense remains past perfect tense. Let me write it this way. Remains past perfect tense. In other words, whenever you have past perfect tense, it does not change. It does not change. It remains past perfect tense. Now, what we talk about here is back shifting. The rule of reporting space has to do with back shifting. So past perfect tense becomes what? Past perfect tense. Now look at this example. The house had been ruined. Observed the landlord. The landlord observed. The house had been ruined. The landlord observed. If I want to report that, it will still remain past perfect tense. So I will simply say the landlord observed that the house had been ruined. So had been ruined becomes, it still remains what? Had been ruined. So past perfect tense remains past perfect tense. Now, future tense. Future tense changes to conditional tense. Future tense changes to what? Conditional tense. Look at this example. I will see you tomorrow. She promised. I will see you tomorrow. Will see is what? Expressing future. If I want to report that, it will become she promised. She promised that she would see him. She would see him or see him, yes, the next day. She will see him the next day. So, will see becomes what? Would see, which is conditional tense. So, Future tense becomes what? Conditional tense. I will see you tomorrow becomes what? She promised that she would see him the next day. So those are the changes of tense that we observe when a past tense reporting verb is used. Now let's look at other changes. What are the other changes that we observe when we are reporting a direct speech as an indirect speech? What are the other changes of tense that we have? Now, we want to look at changes of adverbs. Adverbs of time. Now, these, which is actually demonstrative. Changes of adverbs and adjective. This is an adjective, demonstrative adjective. So this becomes what? That. These becomes what? Those. Now becomes what? Then. Today becomes that day. Tomorrow becomes the next day. The next day. Yesterday becomes the previous day or the day before. And so on and so forth. So these are the changes of adverbs. If I say something like, this is my brother, Tolu said. This is my brother, Tolu said. If I want to report that using past tense, I will say Tolu said. This now becomes what? That. That was, my here becomes what? His brother. So this is my brother. Tolu said becomes what? Tolu said that was his brother. So this becomes that. Mine becomes what? His. Now let me give us another example illustrating that. I saw her yesterday. I saw her yesterday. He said. I saw her yesterday. He said. Reported, it becomes what? He said that he had seen her. He had seen her the day before. So yesterday becomes what? The day before. Saw becomes what? Have seen. So those are the things that we will notice. You notice that I also becomes what? He. So I becomes he. I saw her yesterday, he said, becomes what? He said that he has seen her the day before. So these are some of the things that we will have to take note of whenever we want to convert a direct speech into an indirect speech.